Welcome to the installation of the FutureGateway portal. This video uses the INDIGO-DataCloud infrastructure in order to set up a FutureGateway environment. In particular, it is using an utility named FedCloud User Interface, a textual environment where you can specify different environment variables, just selecting them from contextual menus. For instance, you can see how to select endpoints, virtual organization, in this case templates. Full list of available operating system templates will be shown, and we are going to select the image for FutureGateway. Then it is possible to select the resource templates available on this endpoint, and we are going to install to select the small resource template. By now, once selected the operating system template and the resource template, it is possible to exit from the user interface, and as soon as the interface exits, the full list of environment variables set up are shown in the, on the console. Beside the textual user interface, a set of command line commands is also available, and those commands are starting with the EFC underscore, and they are providing different functionalities accordingly to the name. You can see, for instance, by typing the help, EFC underscore help. One of the available commands regards the creation of a virtual appliance, EFC underscore res underscore create. This command, accordingly to the environment selected above, will create the resource on the selected endpoint. Before to execute this command, it is important to specify a contextualization file that, in this example, is available on the home directory of the current user. The file is located on the home directory of the user, and its name is userdata.txt. We can open it with a text editor in order to set up some important environment variables inside the cloud config file. In particular, we have to set up the public key for SSH connections, and at the bottom of the file there are several other environment variables telling if we are willing to install the live array as well, or reboot the machine in the moment when the installation finishes. We can set up the SSH port from where the machine will answer to SSH, and the Tomcat administration username and password. At the bottom of the file, you can see all the configuration that will be performed during the portal setup, and those instructions can be useful for other to set up the FutureGateway for other environments. So at the end, the run command directive will install the FutureGateway. We are ready now to execute the EFC resource create, specifying the title of our virtual appliance and the contextualization file we just configured. Before to create the resource for us, the command will prompt us to confirm the creation of the resource. So we can say yes, and the resource is going to be created by the system. The resource is now generated. We can see its identifier. This identifier is also set up in the environment variable, see the OCCRS, and we can use EFCRS description in order to get the status of the current appliance. It is possible also to use the OCCI commands in order to get the status of our virtual appliance. And please notice we are going to use the same environment that was set up by the graphical user interface. So at the moment our appliance is in status active, so the virtual appliance is running, and we also have the IP address dedicated to this machine. For this reason, we are ready to try connecting this machine. we can attempt one connection, and at the moment is refusing because maybe the SSH service on the remote machine is not yet running. We can check the connectivity. The machine is answering, so the machine is running, but the SSH service is not yet available. Don't forget that the setup installation is configuring the SSH server to run on a given port. So for instance, we can check that our setup was built using the port number 2424. So we can again attempt the connection with SSH on that port, and this time we are successful connecting. So once logged, we can see the files. We can enter as a root user and see the files. We can see the installation error file, the installation output file, and we can watch the log files just using the tail command. So at the moment the installation files is proceeding and is updating at the moment the system. We can go back to the FutureGateway user, and please notice the existence of this installing fg. This file will be available until the installation will be completed. Of course, the installation will take a while. So when the installation completes, the message installation completed will appear, and we can disconnect the tail command, so we can again list our files. We can exit from the root account, and let's see the files on the FutureGateway user. There are many new files. The selected files are the setup scripts that were responsible to install the system. There are a README file and the important FutureGateway directory. Everything that runs is under this directory. So inside the FutureGateway directory we have the API server daemon, the FG API server, and the grid engine, and also Apache Tomcat in the 8th version. And you can also see other directories like JSAR or LifeRay. Under the directory etc init.d, there exists the file FutureGateway, and this is the control script in order to start, stop, and get the status of the all FutureGateway environment. So at the moment, both components of the FutureGateway are stopped. So the FutureGateway and the API server front end, and we can try to start them using the command sudo service FutureGateway start. So while Tomcat is starting, it is possible to see the log file. It is under Catalina home and logs and catalina.out file. So while Tomcat and also LifeRay starts, it is possible to see the status from the log files, and we can see now that the API server daemon, one of the components of the FutureGateway, is already started. So we can stop to watch the log files from Tomcat, and we can, for instance, see the log file of the API server daemon that stays under web apps, API server daemon, webint log, and API server log. So we can see this daemon working. Those are the message shown by this service. We can stop it, and we can also see the other component, the front end. We can use the screen listing command to see which is the name of the screen section dedicated to the execution of the front end. So we can connect to it, and we can see the service running on that screen section. Let's see the initial LifeRay configuration and the API server daemon control panel. So first we have to connect with a web browser to IP address of this virtual appliance. So the address is the IP of the machine, and the port is 8080. LifeRay will prompt us to provide several information, the portal name, the administration user, which language, and other things. This is a test environment, so we just proceed. So the setup will start and taking a while, and at the end we get the information that the configuration is successfully done, and also the location of a property file. So the first thing to do is to go to my portal, clicking on the button, and soon appears the LifeRay license agreement, and at the bottom of the file you have the button to agree on it, and then you are redirected to the page where you have to specify the password reminder. So for our test environment we are using just a dummy secret word, both for question and answer, and we continue to proceed, and now we are redirected to the home page of our LifeRay portal. So we can, for instance, try to sign out, and After a while, the login window appear. We can try to log in with the standard user test and password test, and again sign in to verify our credentials. So we can also save those dummy passwords on the browser. Modifying a bit the web address and specifying API server daemon, the user will be redirected to the API server daemon dashboard, from where it's possible to see the configuration settings. Then going back, it is also possible to see the status of the daemon, but at the moment this feature is not yet available. Let's see the FutureGateway usage. Let's start with connecting again SSH, and you can notice that after the installation SSH is complaining because it finds the keys changed. So you can fix this as suggested by the SSH commands, or modifying manually the Knonos file, and then you can connect again to the machine. So we can start to watch some utilities, for instance ASDB. You can execute several SQL commands against the FutureGateway database, and there exists also the UTDB command that does the same with the Grid Engine database. So without providing a command line to ASDB or UTDB, you will be connected directly with the interactive MySQL command line. Those are very useful utility while dealing with the FutureGateway system. Let's test our FutureGateway. So we can list the files and go to the FutureGateway directory. Then we can move to the front-end directory, FG API server. And inside this directory there exists another subdirectory named apps. So we can go inside, and other directory exists, and in particular the Hello World example. We can cd in, and we can open the stress test file. We can change the number of submission and of course the delay, but with the one submission you don't need to change the delay. And you can start the stress test shell script. This will query the API server frontend to run a job. We can, for instance, watch the log file of the API server daemon. We can see the daemon working. At the moment the Grid Engine is taking in charge to execute this test, that is SSH connection on the same machine, and we can see that already the job has done. So we can use ASDB utility to have a look on the job queue, and inside the job queue we can see the status done. We can also get the job directory information, and from this directory we can see the status of the output files. Normally, output files are not retrieved going into the database. There are REST APIs to get the job. And we can take this from the stress test, and we can, for instance, prepare our REST call modifying one of the curl command contained in the stress test script. So we can modify the address, and we can get the information on the job. And inside the returned JSON file, JSON output, we can get the output file field, and in particular the URL pointing to our standardout.txt file. Again, we can modify the curl command extracted from the stress test script, and we can modify it to get the standard output, that is the host name of the machine. Thank you for watching this video.